When disaster strikes, you can live without power and you can live without heat. But without water, you can only make it 3 days. And here's the truth. Most people are storing it wrong, if they're storing it at all. Today, we're going to talk about exactly how to store it, how to purify it, how to filter it, so that you never have to wonder if it's safe. And you can avoid those mistakes that could quite possibly make you sick. Hello, everyone, and welcome to SuttonsDaze. If you're new here, my name is Lisa. We are all about pantry preparedness. I have had numerous requests to dig down deep into the whole water issue, how to store it, how much to have, how to filter it, all the other fun stuff. So today we're going to talk about that, and I'll be able to show you a few examples. And yeah, it's going to be fun because it's water. There are a multitude of ways to store water. I've talked about them before. We have bottled water. A 40-pack of bottled water from Wally World is equal to 5 gallons of water. You can store it in 5-gallon pails. You can store it in actual water jugs, you know. There are water bricks. There's a water bob. Yeah, a water bob. Hi, Bob. There's a bunch of different ways that you can do it. One of the things that you want to take into consideration is what are you capable of dealing with, right? So heavy containers, like anything over 8 to 10 pounds, can strain joints and backs and your balance. It's a hot mess. Plastic containers are another thing to worry about. Many people prefer to avoid disposable bottles, and if they're even still out there, you know, plastics that have BPA. But a lot of people don't like plastic. They don't want to deal with it. So that's another thing to take into consideration. There's a fear of contamination. Always a fear of contamination. So water sitting for months can cause doubts, okay? Even if technically it's still safe, it'll give you pause before you use it. And then there's earthquakes, you know, earthquake safety. If you're in an earthquake prone zone, then storing them in glass is, you know, may not work for you. So it's another thing to consider. Those are probably the core problems with storing water. So we're going to talk about some solutions. I love solutions. Solution number one is smaller, easy to handle containers. We have multiple ways that we save water here for multiple purposes. For potable water, for drinkable water, we do keep probably on average 10 cases of water here in the bottles because they're portable, they're easy, they work with, you know, what we do, and because they fit in the pockets of my pants. So that is a key factor for me so that I'm hands-free. They are convenient, definitely. Do they cause a lot of extra trash? Absolutely they do. And so I am trying to work on different ways that I can recycle them. But if you don't want to use those, okay, you can still store plenty of water without lifting heavy objects. And I know for me right now, I can't lift anything. So I get it. I really do. Use half-gallon or 1-gallon BPA-free jugs instead of the 5 to 7 gallon containers. If you do it in larger than a water bottle, smaller than a 5-gallon container, you know, find that happy medium that you can deal with. I think one of the options that I'll show you later on is like 3 or 3.5 gallons. Makes a big difference. So you want to choose containers with a handle because that makes them easier to carry with one hand. Yeah. And store them low. Don't store them high. Never store them high. Store them low, okay? Closer to the ground, the better. Store them low on sturdy shelving. You got to make sure it's sturdy, or slide them under beds or bookcases or whatever for easy access, okay? You want to make sure that there's something that you can lay eyes on, though. That's why I kind of hesitate towards like under the bed for anything, because I want to be able to lay eyes on it so that I know if something happens. So 6 1-gallon jugs, just as an idea to wrap up, you know, our heads around. 6 1-gallon jugs lined along the base of the closet wall. Each weighs only 8.3 pounds when it's full. Just in the bottom part of your closet where stuff normally gets hidden anyway, right? That's a great way to store 8 gallons of water. Shelf-stable canned water. The internet is abound with people saying, I can water. Okay. I don't can water. I'll be the first one to tell you. I did a video on it once. Okay, great. They're still sitting on my shelf just because I love an experiment. I don't can water. I do not see a point in canning water. It does provide you with a sterile water that you can use. Some people put a washcloth in it so it's automatically sterile, when you need it for an emergency. I have better use for my shelving space, honestly. So it's just not something that I do. I don't go with an empty jar is a bad jar. I go a full jar, and using a lid is a cost that doesn't make sense to me. So, but I know there's a lot of you out there, so we all don't have to do it the same. That's the beauty of the world, okay? Canned water in aluminum cans, though, because you can buy canned water in aluminum cans. Now, this one makes sense. Has a shelf life of 30 to 50 years, and it doesn't break if there's an earthquake. It doesn't leach plastic chemicals, and it's very, very earthquake safe. So that is, a wonderful thing. And it's even safer if it's stored in sturdy boxes or crates. Because, yeah, stuff can fall on it, and at that point, but if you store it in a sturdy box or a crate, then you're pretty good to go, unless, like, the roof caves in on it, that kind of thing. So buy in flat cardboard trays and store low to the ground. The same rules apply. The really cool thing about commercially canned in aluminum cans water is that it has it's not as tall, and so sliding it into narrow spaces makes it much easier. Brands like Blue Can Water or Eternal Water in aluminum are BPA free and made for emergency storage. So I think it's a great idea for emergency storage, but pay attention because we'll discuss later on what to do when you open it, okay? A flat of 24 12-ounce cans, that's like a can of soda, okay, fits neatly under a bed. See, that makes more sense, and weighs about 18 pounds total. But you can move them one can at a time if you need to. So for those really narrow spaces, I think that those are a great option for emergency water. Not water that you're necessarily going to rotate through, which is cool, because this is the only example of water that I don't think you need to rotate through that I'm going to give you. The rest of them all need to be rotated through because of the plastics, because of, a multitude of reasons. Do not leave these aluminum cans of water in your car if it's wintertime, because they will explode. We're going to look at some built-in water solutions at home. Everybody is different with what they're dealing with. I'm on well water and a septic system. Some people have well water and a sewer system. Some people have, nothing but city water. Some people have some kind of mix of all of the above, so you have to take what works for you. But built-in water sources at home reduce the need to store and rotate large amounts of bottled water. It really does. Keep a water heater key or a wrench handy, and your water heater can hold 30 to 50 gallons of water, usable water. Add a bathtub liner like a water bob. Remember I was talking about those? If you have a bathtub, I don't have a bathtub, so that doesn't work for me, but if you have a bathtub and you know that major storms are coming in because you listen to a certain Mr. Hall, then you know that that's coming. Get that water bob out, put it in the bathtub, fill it up, and it stays in the bathtub, and it's sealed. It's kind of like a little waterbed in your bathtub, and they're absolutely fantastic. They're quick fill in for emergencies. It is not something that you would keep filled all the time, but if you know that something major is heading your way, it is a great safety measure to have. So after an earthquake, right, you shut off your water supply. That's common practice. And then drain the heater into small pitchers or jugs as needed. You can hold most of that water in your water heater. Just drain off what you need as needed. Filter it because of any sediment that might be in the bottom of the water heater, and you're good to go. The water bob, fill it up. If you need it, it's there. If you don't, water your plants, Solution number 4 is to store it in pouches. Yes. So single-use Mylar water pouches. They're 4 to 8 ounces each. They're easy to lift and portion out, and they last 5+ years, as long as you don't do anything goofy to them, okay? So keep them in a sturdy tote, a bin, a box, that kind of thing. They're good for short-term emergencies or bug-out bags. They're great for bug-out bags because you don't have that big, heavy container holding it all. You just got the pouch with little bits of water in it. So a shoebox size box or tote, okay, with 50 pouches gives you almost 3 gallons of water, but no single pouch weighs more than a half a pound. And I think when you're looking at being able to take potable water with you, that's an excellent solution to have. Just a few, just extra. They're good for 5 years. Put them in your bag. You've got the emergency. We're always talking about, okay, how am I supposed to carry all this water? This is one way. This is one way to do it. Solution number 5. Okay, so a rolling water tank. There's no lifting. You don't have to lift it, okay? Just roll it to fill and roll it to use. It's really cool. So what you're looking for is a wheel-based water container. Water prepared rolling tank, Reliance Aqua Reliance Aqua Tainer on a dolly, yeah. You want to store that in a garage or a shed unless it's wintertime, and then you don't want to do that. You want to move it to someplace where it doesn't freeze. But an example is a 14-gallon rolling tank filled once a year, parked in a corner, ready to wheel out in an outage. Once a year. And if you need it, you just roll it out. There's no lifting it. There's no struggling with it, nothing else. You roll it out. You can stick it in the car or whatever. Again, that's good as long as you're not in a super cold climate. So you want to not have it in direct sun. Put it in a garage, okay? And heat's not going to bother it so bad, but definitely the cold will make you have to buy another one. Now, for your existing 6 gallons, that's assuming, 2 gallons per person per day, right? Your current water has been sitting for, say, 6 months. If it was municipal tap water in food-grade jugs, it's probably still safe. But refresh it to ease your mind. How do you refresh it? We'll get to that. You pour it out, okay? You rinse the container. You refill with tap water. Add a half a teaspoon of unscented bleach. A half a teaspoon of unscented bleach per 5 gallons if you want extra protection. But basically, to refresh your water, you're pouring it out and pouring it back in. You're adding air. You're aerating it because it will go flat after time. Flat water, I swear it's a thing, okay? So you want to aerate it a few times, and that will make it taste fresh. You want to mark the date on the jug? Always put the date on the jug. Just like with anything else that we put into rotation, date it. And then rotate 1 gallon into cooking or tea each month, so nothing sits longer than 6 months. And that's the easiest way to do it. I'm not concerned about our bottled water because we rotate through that easily in 6 months. But anything other than that, I do rotate through. If I'm expecting it to be potable. If it's not potable water, it can sit there and turn 40 shades of green. I don't care. Because I'm using it literally to flush toilets, okay? But otherwise, if it's potable, you want to make sure that you're rotating through it every 6 months. Unless it's the aluminum cans. You can just buy and stack. That is a rare set it and forget it. Now, for all my lovely, lovely senior citizens, these are some extra senior specific tips, okay? If you're in earthquake zones, earthquake safety, store the water low to the ground in sturdy bins or crates so that nothing falls on you. That should apply for everybody, but accessibility is going to be big. Keep at least a few gallons in a room where you spend most of your time. That's the living room, yeah? And so find some place to store a couple gallons in your living room. No bending. Use low shelves or rolling carts instead of floor storage if bending is difficult. Find a way to have it at the level that you need it, okay? And purification backup, because it's never just about storing water, having potable water stored. You want to have a way to purify it also. So keep a small pump filter or chlorine bleach so that you can make any found water safe to drink. What are some different water storage methods? The 1 gallon food grade jugs. They're easy enough. They have a handle, right? They're BPA free. They're food grade plastic jugs. They have HDPE number 2. They're filled with treated tap water. Those are the ones you want to put treated tap water in, okay? They're easy to carry, to refill, and to rotate because they're 1 gallon. It's like a gallon of milk, okay? Low lifting weight, about 8 pounds each, which makes it better for everybody. And 6 1-gallon jugs stored under a bed for easy access during a power outage. It's so simple. Just put it on your calendar to make sure to go in and rotate them out. That's all you have to do. Aluminum canned water again, we'll, add that again because it's another way to store it. It's commercially canned. It has a shelf life of 30 to 50 years. It's the rare occurrence where it is a set it and forget it, okay? There's no plastic leaching, which I know a lot of people have problems with. Extremely long shelf life, stackable, earthquake safe in boxes. So that kind of hits all the bars, The examples are the blue can water stored in a low cabinet in the kitchen. So a low cabinet in the kitchen, a low cabinet under the bed, in the bottom of your closet, any place like that. Number 3 is the water pouches. We talked about those. They're 4 to 8 ounces of water, and they're Mylar bags. They have a 5-year shelf life. Awesome, right? And so they're really easy to put in backpacks so that you have enough water on you. In your go bags, you have enough carry easy. You're not required to carry a big bottle around. They work out really good. They do. Is it the end-all be-all for all instances? No. This is part of the layered approach, is those Mylar pouches. Stackable water bricks. I'm going to show you guys my stackable water bricks. I have no choice because now I've got you in the breezeway. But stackable water bricks. I love these things so much because they're stackable, okay? So they're modular, rectangular water containers. They do about 3.5 gallons each, so it's not the 5-gallon bucket, right? They're space efficient because you can stack them, and they are portable and in smaller units. So you can grab, 2 of those for one of the 5-gallon buckets, but they're just very portable, very easy to maneuver because of their shape and everything else. So 4 water bricks stacked in a hall closet, each with a spigot attachment for dispensing, makes them the easiest way to store water. The rolling water containers, we'll touch on those again, right? So they're large water tanks on wheels with handles. They're like 10 to 14 gallons. And these are really handy outside, as long as the temperature agrees with you. They're really handy in the garage. I don't know necessarily about in the house, but yeah, they could be. They allow you to store water without heavy lifting. And I know that's important for a whole bunch of us, okay? Rainwater collection barrels. Now, I know some places you're not allowed to collect rainwater because the world is a fun place, but a 50 to 200 gallon barrel, because they have them out there. We've actually got, what do they call them? IBC totes. We have a few of those around the property that we set up to collect rainwater. And then you put a spigot on them, and you do have to watch things like algae and that kind of stuff, but clean them out really good. Whether it's potable or non-potable water, you have to treat it if it's potable because it is coming potentially off your roof or other surfaces, but it captures rain from your roof via a downspout. I know it's not allowed every place, okay? It's renewable, it's sustainable, it's a great backup source, and it must absolutely be treated before drinking it. Trust me on this one. If you are lucky enough to have a metal roof, I would still treat it. Please treat it, okay? So a 55-gallon barrel with a screen over the top of it, right? To keep debris and mosquitoes out, that kind of thing. And they work like a dream, an absolute dream. I had to disconnect them this year. I'm going to be reconnecting them. I've got a few different ideas on how I want to set them up to better irrigate the garden and to also help take care of the animals, because water, it's kind of free if it's coming out of the sky, right? Theoretically. Store tap water in glass jars. Okay, that's one that's very easy to do. You can store tap water in glass jars. Would I devote a whole lot of space to this? No. Reuse canning jars filled with boiled or treated tap water. At that point, I literally don't think I would bother canning it. I would just make sure it's securely, tightened down. A lot of people don't like plastic. That's why they do it. It can be portioned into small, manageable weights. You don't have to do a half gallon. You can do a quart. You can do a pint. You can do a half pint. I don't think I do a 4 ounce, but a dozen quart jars and a low cabinet for cooking water. Yeah, that's a great alternative. I don't know that I would do a whole lot more than that, but it's going to depend on, your situation and availability. The household water heater. Now, I'm grateful that I took the time to discuss my intention to put in an on-demand water heater during a live in our Facebook group. And that's where Cherie informed me that that won't work here because I have well water and it can be 140 degrees outside, but the water coming out of that hose will turn your feet blue, okay? So, especially in the wintertime, but definitely any time of year, an on-demand hot water heater cannot get, especially electric. How's that? I have to put that caveat in there too, electric. If it were gas, that might be a different thing. But electric and well, not a good match. It cannot keep up to heat the water sufficiently for these super hot showers that we like. So I had to return that on-demand hot water heater. I'm a little bummed about that. Now let's talk about some purification options, because it's not just a matter of storing it, it is a matter of purification. That's your next level, okay? There's at least 3 tiers to storing water. Boiling it is one way to do it. But heating water until it reaches a rolling boil for 1 minute, 3 minutes if you're at a high altitude, it kills the bacteria, viruses, and parasites. It also wastes a whole bunch of the water. Boiling pond water on a propane camping stove before drinking it is a great way to make sure that you're probably not going to be sitting over the latrine, you know? You want to be very, very careful about this. Chlorine bleach. Don't buy the smelly stuff. Nobody needs bleach to smell good. Adding unscented household bleach, 8 drops per gallon to disinfect water. 8 drops per gallon. It's inexpensive, even though the prices of chlorine bleach have jacked up crazy. It's effective and it's widely available. Treating stored tap water before sealing it in jugs is a great way to make sure that it stays good, you know? It's just another safeguard. When it comes time to actually drink it, you just aerate it, let it sit out, unopened, and the bleach will evaporate. I don't think it takes 20 minutes, not a big deal. So it's a great way to keep your stored water good. Water purification tablets. They contain iodine, chlorine dioxide, and other disinfectants. They are super portable and they're easy to store, and they have a super long shelf life. They're kind of perfect, Keeping a bottle of tablets in your purse or emergency bag for emergency situations. This is phenomenal for your go bag. It's another way to have that layered approach to getting water. Next is gravity filtration systems. A lot of people have heard the name Berkey, okay, or Alexa Pure. So they're countertop, or they have portable ones too, and super convenient to use. They have all different kinds of makes and models. They remove the sediment, bacteria, and many contaminants without electricity because it's gravity fed. You can use that to filter rainwater after a storm. Yes, you can. I love it. I got mine about 5 years ago, and it's sitting right next to my fridge because I have water insecurity issues because we did not have potable water for the first 2 weeks that we lived here. So I want to make sure that I've always got potable water. So I know if I can't get it out of the faucet, I can get it out of the Berkey. And that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Alexa Pure has 2 different models. I'll put links down below. And they're fantastic. Just absolutely fantastic. Highly recommend finding a way to have one of those, okay? Portable pump filters. Because not everybody stays home all the time. What? Yeah, I know. So hand pump devices that push water through a filter to remove impurities. Like your Life Straw. Life straws, okay? Lightweight, good for outdoor use or travel. And they use the pump to make stream water safe on a camping trip. And that's what you're looking for, even if you're not going on a camping trip, okay? The next one is a UV light purifier. I have not had experience with these, but I am very, very intrigued with them. They are devices that use ultraviolet light to neutralize pathogens. They're chemical-free and quick, and it kills microorganisms, which is super cool, right? Using a SteriPen to treat a liter of collected rainwater. That's how simple it is. A SteriPen does an entire liter of rainwater. I am intrigued, and it's on my list. It's definitely on my list. What to do when storing water. These are some things you want to keep in mind, okay? Use food-grade containers. They're going to have HDPE number 2 plastic, stainless steel or glass to prevent chemical leaching. Label the containers, okay, with the date that it was filled and the date that it should be refreshed. You want to store in a cool, dark place, 50 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit, to slow bacterial growth and prevent plastic degradation. Super important. Keep it away from chemicals like gasoline, paint, pesticides. Vapors can permeate some plastics. Why risk it? Don't do it, okay? Rotate your supply every 6 to 12 months. Just put it on your calendar. Do it when you do your smoke detectors, okay? And that's including tap water. That's basically all of it except for the aluminum water. Keep multiple container sizes because it's not a one size fits all. It's like our bottled water and our water bricks and our 5-gallon containers and our 5-gallon buckets. We have multiple different things that we keep water in because not all containers fit all scenarios. So it's good to have a variety, you know. Have backup purification supplies stored with your water. Don't put it someplace else. Put it with your water. So if you've got water, then you also want to have some kind of filtration. Then you also want to have some kind of purification. None of this is cost prohibitive. I mean, you can get a Life Straw and purification tablets. If you can do something like an Alexa Pure, by all means, do something like an Alexa Pure. Highly recommend it, okay? What not to do when you're storing water, there's a list of that too. Don't use milk jugs if you expect to drink it. If you do use milk jugs, write with a Sharpie marker on the outside of the jug, not to drink, okay? Because that's good for, you know, using the restroom, or that's good for whatever. But you don't want to drink it out of there because they degrade super quick, they leak, and they may contain residue. No matter how much you think you got all of that dairy out of there, you probably didn't. And so it's best not to use those. Don't store directly on concrete. Chemicals can seep up through the plastic. Use a barrier like wood or cardboard, something. Have them sit on something, not directly on the concrete, okay? Don't store in direct sunlight because heat promotes algae growth. It's gross, okay? And it weakens the containers significantly. Don't use previously used chemical containers. So if it had any kind of chemical in it, don't use it for water, period. Don't rely on a single storage method. Like I was saying, we have the bottled water, we have the water bricks, we have the 5-gallon bottles, we have the 5-gallon buckets, we have the IBC totes, you know. So don't rely on just one kind. Containers can fail or be inaccessible in a disaster. So you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, basically. You want to make sure that you've got what you need when you need it. Don't wait until an emergency to fill the containers. Okay, except for the water bob, obviously. Water may be cut off or contaminated before you can act on it. So just make it part of your regular rotation to make sure that your containers are filled with water. That's good. It's a good thing. Now let's talk about the pros and the cons. Oh boy. So water storage options, what's available? Store-bought bottled water. The pro is that it's ready to use, it's sealed, and it's portable, okay? The cons are plastic waste and heavier cases, because they are. It's 5 gallons of water. The shelf life, 1 to 2 years. And you will notice if you keep them past that, that the plastic seems to get much weaker. And it's very interesting. Yeah. The next one is a 1-gallon food grade jug. The pro is that it's easy to lift and it's refillable. Bonus. The cons are that you must rotate it yearly. It's good for 6 to 12 months. Then there's the water pouches we discussed. They're lightweight, they're long-lasting, and they're single serve, okay? You can't just keep reusing them. But they are more expensive per gallon, so that is something to consider. But their shelf life is 5+ years. So you have to, you know, weigh the pros and cons. The aluminum canned water, very long shelf life, right? And no plastic leach. The con is that it has a higher initial cost, but you can forget about it. The shelf life is 30 to 50 years. Stackable water bricks, they are space efficient. They are portable in smaller units. The cost per gallon is higher technically, but they last 5 to 10 years. So you are paying a little bit more to keep it a little bit longer. You know what I mean? Rolling water tanks, large capacity without lifting, needs storage space. So you still need storage space for it, and that's going to take some consideration. And it lasts a year before you have to rotate it out. Rainwater collection, the pro is that it's renewable and sustainable, okay? The cons, that it requires filtration and treatment. It absolutely does. And the shelf life is use immediately or treat it. Yeah. So it's not something for long-term storage. Glass jars, you know, no plastic. They're reusable. That's the pro, seriously, because a bunch of us have canning jars, right? They're heavy. They are breakable in earthquakes or any other circumstances. And the shelf life is a year if sealed properly. Now, if they're sealed properly, the shelf life is a year, but after a year, all you have to do is aerate it. So technically, I think it lasts a little bit longer. It's not that you're going to get sick from it. It's that it probably won't taste good, you know. Water heater reserve, which is like the last ditch effort, right? It's always available if you have a water heater, so there's no special storage required. You must know how to access it safely. That's the con, because a lot of people don't. And the shelf life is that it's fresh daily, because if you're taking a shower or doing dishes, you are refreshing that water. So let's talk about the tiered method for water preparedness, okay? And this is kind of a step-by-step approach because we don't want to overwhelm you by any stretch. So tier 1, immediate supply, 3 days to a week. That's what you want to focus on right now if you've got no water stored, 3 days to a week. It covers sudden outages, storms, short boil water advisories, because a lot of us have had those, right? You want to store at least 2 gallons per person per day in small, easy-to-lift containers. So if you're looking at 3 days, that's 6 gallons for one person. That's a little bit more than a 40-pack from, Wally World. That's the bottles. That's 2 1-gallon jugs for each day, 6 jugs, or those water pouches, which I don't know that I would use those for that, but it's an option depending on where you live. You want to keep these in an easy, accessible location. Rotate them every 6 to 12 months. Tier number 2 is extended supply 2 weeks to a month. So first we had 3 days to a week. Once you get that stacked up, let's focus on tier 2, okay? And that is 2 weeks to a month. Covers longer disruptions, hurricanes, local water contamination, you name it. Store 2 to 3 gallons per person per day in a mix of portable and stationary storage. So it shouldn't all be one method. If you're looking at 2 weeks to a month, then you want to make it not only water bottles, but you want to make it maybe some of those aluminum cans. You want to make it, the bricks, and maybe a larger tote. So stackable water bricks, 5 to 7 gallon jugs, rolling tanks, you're good to go, because that will take you out farther than the 3 days to a week. That's 2 weeks, 2 weeks to a month. Tier 3, okay, long-term and renewable resources. That's what you want to look at. And so if you are looking then at, you've set up your first 7 days, and now you're going to set up your 2 weeks to a month. And once you get that set up, now you're going to set up for extended storage. And that is a significant crisis or infrastructure failure, which is totally plausible, okay? You want to look for the large barrels, 55 gallons. Rainwater catchment, in-home water heater is another option for the long term, okay? You want to have backups, absolutely. Filtration system and purification methods are so important, and you should definitely have those around, especially when you're looking past a month. Anything past a month, you want to be sure to have those. Learn how to access and treat your water. So learn how to access your water tank. Learn how to access water from around your house. And then learn how to treat it. Practice with those purification tablets. They don't cost very much. They're actually pretty easy. Practice with your Alexa Pure. Put some red dye in there. Make sure that it's doing it right. Do different things. Go get some from the pond out back and pour it in there and see what it does. You have to practice. You can't just assume that you're going to do it. Pull a life straw out. See if it's still good. They don't technically last forever. They do last a long time. So you want to pull those out and make sure that, they're doing what they're supposed to do. Learn how to use all of those really great things. And that is your third tier for the extended periods beyond a month. Okay, filtering water. So filtering removes the sediment that could be in the water, any dirt, contaminants, that kind of thing, but it does not always kill pathogens. So don't look for it to do that. It's usually the step 1 before purification. So if you're going to go to the trouble of adding the bleach or the water purification tablet, then you probably want to filter it first, because nobody likes drinking chunky water. It's gross, okay? So gravity filters like the Alexa Pure, a pump filter like Sawyer has, a straw filter like Life Straw. Those are all excellent ways to filter your water, and then you purify it. Purifying the water, dun-dun-dun. Okay, so boiling it again. We're going to talk boiling it is 1 minute or 3 minutes if you're at a high altitude. It kills bacteria, viruses, and parasites. It's not, in my mind, the most efficient way to do it, because when you bring it to a boil, you're losing some of the water as steam. So if water is really precious, it's not a great way, but it is a way to do it, okay? The chlorine bleach, remember, 8 drops per gallon, unscented chlorine, water purification tablets, and the UV light purifiers. So cool. I'm going to get one. There are different places that you are going to want to look and keep note of for backup emergency water. We've been talking about your hot water tank. That's one. Your toilet tank water. The tank, not the seat, the tank, okay? Rainwater from the roof and local ponds or rivers, but you have to make sure that you are filtering and purifying them, all of them, every single one. Some quick safety rules to consider, okay? Store some water in every floor area of your home so you're not dependent on one spot. So if you've got multiple floors, have water stored on all the floors. Keep at least 2 purification methods on hand. That is bleach or the purification tablets. That's not filtration. That's bleach or purification tablets, or the UV light. You know, test your system before you need it. You have to practice. Owning it is not enough. You have to actually use it so that you have experience with it, so that you know what you're doing, because during an emergency is not the time to go, I think I'll learn this now. No, you got other stuff going on, right? Don't wait for an emergency to figure out how to use it. Practice beforehand. Don't wait until the tap runs dry. You want to start your water plan today, actually yesterday, but today's just as good since you didn't do it yesterday, okay? Just to be of some assistance, I have put together a printable water preparedness guide for you. There is a link down below. It is a direct download. It downloads directly to wherever your device is, defaults to send your downloads. I can't help you find it because it's different on everybody else's device. So if you click it, it will directly download to your device. You have to find it after that. It's everything we talked about in one place, ready for your pantry binder. The link is down below. Grab it, print it out, practice it. Pull those things out, find those things, and start practicing. I have links down below for all of the different stuff that I talked about. I cannot emphasize enough how important this is, and we all need to make sure that we've got enough water. 3 days, that's all you can go without it. That's it. You can go without food longer. Start implementing it immediately. Make it your plan to do for this weekend, okay? It is so important. It is that important. Hopefully you can find everything that you need to start putting up some water. I will have links down below in the description box for the different things that I have talked about, and by all means, if you do nothing else, go get yourself some cases of bottled water, because that's part of your first 3 days. You want to make sure that you're covering those time frames, 3 days to a week, 2 weeks to a month, anything beyond that. Don't jump right back into the big stuff, but at some point, jump in. You have to make sure that you're covered for an extended period. They didn't have running water at the same time that they didn't have electricity during Ice-Mageddon or hurricanes or any other freak storm that's been going on. We cannot predict what the universe is going to throw at us anymore. So it is up to us to prepare and to be prepared. And I hope that this answered all of your questions. If you want to check out more about different ways of being prepared, check out this playlist right here. And until next time, my friends, be safe. Keep stacking it to the rafters, my friends.